Running a Fever, Episode 403, Jeanne Calment Update. Welcome to Running a Fever. My name is Michael Davis. This is a show about fitness, diet, and medicine. My goal is to live a long, healthy, happy, active life right up to the very end. If that's your goal as well, then you're in the right place. We'll get there together. Jeanne Calment, if you don't already know, is the person who lived the longest according to documented evidence. She lived to be 122. Some of you may be intrigued by the title of this episode. Jeanne Calment died on August 4th, 1997. What is there to update? As it turns out, quite a lot. My first episode on Jeanne was published on July 26, 2019. I recorded it on an early morning walk, as I often do for the show. So it wasn't completely about Jeanne, and it was 28 minutes long. Not long ago, I noticed that episode was by far the most popular video on my YouTube channel, which you can find at youtube.com/@runningafever. So let's talk about the information I've discovered since episode 170, which, by the way, you can find at runningafever.com/170. In 2019, an article was published by INSERM. INSERM is the French equivalent of what we call the National Institutes of Health here in the United States. In the article, among other things, was mentioned the existence of 15 hours of recorded interviews with Jeanne Calment, recorded over the course of years between 1992 and 1995. The 25 recordings consisted of 30 interviews by Dr. Michael Ayard of Fondation Ibsen, Jean-Marie Robin, a demographer and public health researcher, and Dr. Victor Lebre, Jeanne's attending physician. Unfortunately for readers of the article, they would be kept in suspense for another 3 years. At the time the article was published, they wanted to make sure the tapes didn't contain private or medical information. A 2020 article in The New Yorker said when asked about the tapes, Dr. Ayard said, "The tapes were sitting in a box in his basement. He simply hadn't bothered to fetch them." He hadn't bothered to fetch them. You probably can't tell, but inside I'm screaming right now. In 2022, the tapes were finally published as digital audio on the INSERM website. You can go there today and hunt them down. In fact, I've included a link to them in the blog post at runningafever.com/403. But wait, don't go there now, because I have a big announcement to make. Today, I'm making all 25 recordings available on YouTube for the first time ever. You can access them in a single playlist on my channel, appropriately titled The Jeanne Calment Interviews. Now, keep in mind that these interviews are all in French. After all, Jeanne was from Arles, France. Her interviewers were presumably French as well. Which brings me to my next point. I've looked into various methods of automated transcription and translation. I even tested out a couple on a short interview segment. They're not up to snuff, and I understand why. First of all, the interviews were recorded on tape, presumably cassette tapes, and were 30 years old when they were digitized. Second of all, we're talking about a 117 to 120-year-old woman whose speech is not always clear. Now, I know there are some people listening to this episode right now who are fluent in both English and French. So, please consider working on transcribing and translating these recordings so that the English-speaking world, especially me, can learn exactly what this amazing woman had to say, telling the story of her life. If I can help in any way, through coordinating who does what or anything else I can do, please contact me at mail@runningafever.com. I know I would appreciate it, and I think many, many more would as well. But wait, there's more. As if all that wasn't enough to think about. In my research, I also discovered a book written by the interviews, Ayard, Lebre, and Robin, and translated into English by Beth Copeland. It's called Jeanne Calment, From Van Gogh's Time to Ours, 122 Extraordinary Years. It chronicles the life of Jeanne as they discovered in their study of her. Unfortunately, again, the book, at least the English version, is out of print and very rare. I found 3 copies of it for sale. I bought the cheapest one, which wasn't cheap, so I suppose a lucky 2 of you can get it and read it for yourself if you have the money to do so. But that doesn't mean the rest of you will be left out. I will be doing an episode inspired by the book. It's the next episode, next week. I look forward to it. I hope you'll enjoy it. Well, that's it. No more startling announcements or amazing new information for this episode, but there's more to come. Stay tuned. And if you got the fever, keep it burning. And if you don't, catch the fever. And I will see you next time on Running a Fever.